always, we would like to encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, because this is a show by the people, for the people, and you, my friends, are my people. So jump in, participate, let us know what you think. We don't talk to you on this show, we talk with you. And in today's program, Paige Bueckers' hometown is giving her quite an honor. They're renaming the town Paige Bueckers, Minnesota. How about that? And WrestleMania weekend has turned our thoughts to the favorite professional wrestlers of our youth. OutKick's own Trey Wallace is going to join the program, and we're going to be doing a Gimme 5 today. All of us are listing our 5 favorite professional wrestlers of all time. You don't want to miss that. We got a generous heaping of Super 70 sports tweets sprinkled throughout the show, just like the eggs that the Easter Bunny brought. But first, let's begin with Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders responding in this case to the critics, myself among them, I suppose, who have said maybe Shedeur getting his number retired was a bit, if not too much, premature. Let's put it that way. Steph Curry went to Davidson. Jared, look up for me how long it took Davidson to retire Steph Curry's number. He'd been in the NBA for 10 fucking years, and he's the only person who ever went to Davidson that matters. Unless one of my precious viewers went to Davidson, we can't afford to lose your fine ass, so you matter also. But Davidson, not known for churning out a disproportionate amount of high-level professional talent, Steph Curry had to wait a while to get his number retired. Shedeur Sanders not only getting it retired, he's getting it retired immediately. And Deion says that, well, all of the talk about it, there's one reason for that. Let's roll the tape.
You know, retired jerseys can be a sore subject.
Not really.
Alums.
This is the first time I ever seen it sore. I don't know if you know it, but I'm retired, man. I think every jersey Darren I played in is retired. So I'm pretty familiar with this. So it's never been sore.
But why do you think that? What was your message like? Maybe Buff Nation and Buff alums who are
I don't have
why
a message. I'm praying for my AD. I love him to life, Rick George. Let's get the elephant out the room. I don't want to talk about this too long. I'm gonna just talk briefly and let it go. We talking about Shedeur. We ain't talking about nobody else. But his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this discussion. The only reason we were having this discussion is his last name is Sanders.
Well, you're right about that, Deion. The only reason we're having this discussion is because his last name is Sanders. Because if his last name wasn't Sanders, he wouldn't be getting his fucking jersey retired immediately. Now, would he? Coach's kid. That's what's happening here. Let's be real about it. Now, look, I'm not saying the young man isn't an outstanding player. I'm not saying he didn't have outstanding accomplishments. And yes, Deion, I'm sure every jersey you've ever worn in your life is retired somewhere because you're arguably the greatest cornerback in the history of the NFL. You're on the very short list. We're not talking about you, so let's not pollute this. We're talking about your son and what he did in his 2 years at Colorado. Now, again, I'm not here to be a wet blanket. Is Shedeur Sanders the best quarterback who ever attended Colorado? Time will tell. But I remember Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart, who played at Colorado from 91 to 94. He was the full-time starter in 93 and 94, and for most of the 92 season, he started most of their games. I think he played 9 games that year. He was 27-5-1 as a starter during his career at Colorado. They finished ranked 3rd in the country in 1994. They won the Fiesta Bowl. They won the Aloha Bowl his junior year. Hey, Ronnie, I know you're off camera right now, but if you're listening, how many bowl games did Shedeur Sanders win?
Why don't you ask me how many teams with winning records did he beat? It's the same. Yep, there you go.
13 and 11 is what they went in his 2 years. Now, look, his numbers are incredible, and he may go on. Cordell Stewart had a pretty respectable NFL career. Is Shedeur going to exceed that? Look, there's no guarantees. Shedeur he might be a flop in the NFL. I don't expect that to happen. I think that he will ultimately have a pretty good future in the NFL. Now, whether that means he's a perennial Pro Bowl guy or whether that means he just carves out a career, we'll find out. He may end up having the better career in the NFL than Kordell Stewart did, but I don't think, other than statistically, he had a better career as a quarterback at Colorado. And Kordell Stewart, who I believe was number 10, if I recall correctly, is still fucking waiting. It's been over 30 years. You can't give the guy who went 27-5-1 and won a Fiesta Bowl and an Aloha Bowl. He can't get his jersey retired. Shedeur, it's not even so much that Shedeur got it retired. It's that he just walked off the field from his last fucking game. He hasn't even been drafted yet. Who gets their number retired in 3 fucking months? Now, if anybody deserves it, it would be Travis Hunter, however. You win a Heisman, that's it. You get your jersey retired. I'm all right with that. We can do it the day after you get the fucking trophy, as far as I'm concerned. There's no point in making you wait very long. You're a Heisman Trophy winner. That is a very select list, and you deserve it. Plus the fact that Travis is a unicorn who played both sides of the ball. I got no issue there, but Shedeur feels like he's sliding in with his friend to me. I'll tell you a guy who's not going to be sliding into any lineups anywhere, and that is Colin Kaepernick. Remember him? Our old friend Cap, social justice warrior that he is, that he was. Well, apparently he thinks that he's going to get back to the NFL one day. He's 37 fucking years old. Take a look at this. Colin Kaepernick still wants to play in the NFL and is training every day per his girlfriend. Quote unquote, training all day, every day, waiting to be some team's starting quarterback. You're 37 years old. You haven't played in the NFL for 8 years. You weren't very fucking good when you left the last time I saw you play. Let's go back and look at Colin Kaepernick's numbers from his last couple of years in the NFL. And then imagine if setting out for 8 years while you go out and make a fortune as a social justice guy, woke icon, how that's going to affect your play on the field. Good luck with that, champ. It reminds me, we saw it circulating on social media. You may have seen it too. The guy I always heard when I was a kid about the Japanese soldier who thought that the war wasn't over. And they discovered this motherfucker somewhere in the 1970s. 29 years after the war was over, somebody had to come and say like, hey, Hiroki, it's over, baby. You can go home now. This is it. Yeah, it's been over for a while. It's been over for a minute. He was still fighting that battle like me trying to hang in there in a couple of my marriages, Ron. Just, sometimes we can invest years in something past the point of when it was over. I know that personally, Ron. And speaking of it being over, it was over real fucking quick last night in Oklahoma City, where the Thunder blew out Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies by 51 fucking points. Welcome to the playoffs. Thanks for playing. A 51-point loss. And Ja Morant, ever the leader, had this to say after the game.
Joe, what are you telling your guys after something after a game like this?
We'll never, play that bad again.
We'll never, play that bad again. Man, what a rallying cry for his teammates. Ja Morant may be the biggest idiot in the NBA. Ben Simmons has been the guy who has got under my skin that I couldn't stand for a long time. I would have told you up until recently that Ben Simmons was probably my least favorite NBA player. I think it's got to be Ja Morant at this point. Getting around the fact, excusing the fact that he carries the ball and walks and, he's moving all over the court like Michael Jackson, not dribbling the ball. let's set that aside for a minute. He's a hell of a talent, but he's always finding some way to do something stupid. Not a sympathetic care. Whether that's waving guns around in real life and getting suspended by the league, whether that's then doubling down on it with his air guns that he's broken out on the courts, or now he's throwing grenades into the crowd. I don't know. I didn't see last night. Can anybody tell me if he mimicked squatting down and taking a shit on the court last night at any point during that 51-point loss? There he is on the bench, down 54. Just smelling his own farts over there. Like Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. Look at him. Just having a fine time. Look, I don't know the circumstances of that, but Jesus Christ. You're down 54 on the bench. You're the team leader. Imagine Jordan. Imagine Mike. First of all, you're not going to imagine a Michael Jordan team losing by 50 points. You're not going to be able to imagine a Michael Jordan team losing in the playoffs by anywhere near that. But imagine Michael Jordan on the bench cracking a smile for any fucking reason after being humiliated like that. What's wrong with this kid? The 70s just called and said, get some toughness, son. And the 70s also inquired if anybody has any dirty laundry. Take a look at that. Take a look at those sweet bastards. If you're of a certain age, you well remember avocado green.
And Harvest Gold.
There it is right there. And Harvest Gold. That is exactly right. And then there was that burnt orange. I forget what they called it, but that was the bronze medalist in 70s interior decoration. But we had the avocado, Ron. We had the washer, the dryer. We had the fridge. We had the stove. It was avocado everywhere. But I suppose that I should give you the introduction that you're truly worthy of, Ron. I now officially welcome to the program the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, Ja Morant, look, I know that you're in Nashville and Memphis is a minute down the road from you, but as a Tennessean, I'm sure that you hear more Grizzlies talk than I do here in Chicago. What do you make of this kid? Is he as big of an idiot as it seems like he is?
I'll be honest with you, Ricky. NBA is not really a big thing around here. I mean, Nashville's a football town and a hockey town when the Predators are good. But it's just one of those things, man. It's the dichotomy of Ja Morant. Like, he just doesn't get it, right? Like, he just doesn't get it. But my God, when he's good, he's
doesn't
so
want to
good.
get it.
I know, but he's so. But
well,
the dichotomy
fuck him
is,
and how good he is. There's a lot of guys in the league that are good. I don't dispute his talent. He's an incredible talent, but he's wasted.
Different though. When you watch him play, it's different watching him play, and he's just wasted. He's wasted. I think he's as good as he is. I think he could be so much better. But my problem with what he said when he said that'll never happen again. Well, dude, it was just 2 hours earlier. You could have just never had it happen that time. Like. That was your wake up call?
Yeah.
Like, that was the wake up call.
Oh, at halftime, motherfucker.
Is losing by 54?
That's what I would say.
Is that frowned upon, losing by 54? Oh, we'll never do that again.
Do you think he gave an inspirational halftime speech about pride?
I don't.
Probably not. He's having a great career for a guy who has played his entire career with his head up his ass. I will give him that. Imagine how good his numbers would be if he extracted his cranium from his rectum. Ron, is what I would say. Look, I'm going to talk a little bit with this later with Trey Wallace when he joins the program, Ronnie. But let me go ahead and get your take on this first. Shedeur Sanders getting his number retired. The number 2 now is retired. Does it strike you as, if nothing else, a bit premature?
Oh, it's not just premature. I mean, his number shouldn't be retired. So let's play a real quick game of who am I, all right? So I am the leading rusher in school's history. I was a unanimous All-American. I was third in Heisman voting the year my team won the national championship. And I am in my school's Hall of Fame. And that Hall of Fame is the Colorado Buffaloes Hall of Fame. Who am I? Also, I'm not in. I also have not had my number retired. Eric Bieniemy, Ricky.
Rashawn Salam? Eric Bieniemy. Okay.
It's Bieniemy. Rashawn won the Heisman.
All right.
But I wasn't trying to have a gotcha with you. I was trying to make a point. That's crazy what I just gave you for his resume. And he doesn't have his number retired.
Not retired?
No.
Okay, then get the fuck out of here. Honest to God, get the fuck out of here then with this. I'm comparing him to Cordell Stewart. We have a better comparison here in Bieniemy. I mean, another position, but a highly decorated player. Why in the world? How can you justify retiring the jersey of a guy who was barely above 500 and who didn't really win shit?
No, he didn't.
In the time that he was there. Great player. Great player, but I mean, jersey retired and great player are not synonymous. You can be a great player and not have your jersey retired.
I don't even think he's a great player. I don't think he's
a great player at that institution. I mean, he's a great player in the general sense of the word.
I mean,
Ron, don't quibble with me. Let's not get into semantics too deeply here. But I love Deion saying we wouldn't be having this conversation if he wasn't a Sanders. Well, yeah, we fucking wouldn't. Because if he wasn't a Sanders, this wouldn't be happening.
Correct.
This is all to stroke your fucking ego, Deion.
Correct.
This is what this is for.
I want to say
stroke your ego.
I want to say that Shedeur should be embarrassed by this, but he comes from a long line of narcissists, so he's not going to be embarrassed, because I would absolutely be embarrassed and have some bit of imposter syndrome if somebody's like, Ron, you're in the you just won an Emmy. I'm like, no, that's not really, no, I don't think I deserve that. I'd feel embarrassed by it. But with Travis absolutely should have his number retired someday. Not now. That's not how this works.
How does he jump Bieniemy in the fucking line?
But it's just
Bieniemy
not how
won the Heisman. See, I don't even remember that.
No, Bieniemy did not win the Heisman.
Winner.
No, Bieniemy finished third. He finished third.
Okay, then. What is Rashawn Salam's number retired?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, Bieniemy has a better argument than Shedeur Sanders by far.
Yeah, but to me, it's just it's just, you know it when you see it, right? And getting your number retired is this thing that's like you're gone from the university for 5, 10, 15 years. You've had your pro career, and then you come back to the stadium with your family, and you got your kids, and you walk out on the field and they pull the cover down, and there's your number up there. And it's this really cool thing that it's nostalgic. What is this? What is this? They played their last game 4 months ago, Ricky.
It's ridiculous, Ron. I'm looking up right now when Davidson retired Steph Curry's number. I'm asking Grok.
Yeah.
Right here on the air. 2022. Davidson retired Steph Curry's number 30 August 31st, 2022, and inducted him into the Davidson Athletics Hall of Fame.
And I bet if we find a picture of it, there'd be a picture of Steph with his wife and his kids. And probably I bet one of his kids or all of his kids were wearing Davidson jerseys with his number on it. And it's just like really cool and like this heartwarming thing.
Bro, it's fucking Davidson. They could have stopped any game his senior year, called the timeout, and retired his jersey during the fucking timeout.
Name the court after
put on
him.
Another number.
Name the court after him.
Name the arena after him. Name the college after him. But he had to wait until 2022, but not Shedeur Sanders.
Nope.
Let me tell you what. You go
4
13
months.
and 11 at Colorado.
4 months.
Unbelievable. Absolutely ridiculous. And for Deion to act like he can't understand it. he can fuck off with that. I like Deion, but the ego sometimes with Deion, settle down a little bit, man. I'm glad that Deion has Christ in his life, because how fucking insufferable would Deion be if he didn't have Jesus working on him every day? Because it still slips out of him. He can't help it. Jesus is doing all he can to get this motherfucker to heaven, Ron. I'm telling you right now, his hands are full. Did you see yesterday Aaron Judge, Ron, with a blast down there at that minor league ballpark that the Rays are calling home this year, Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees' own minor league facility down there? Aaron Judge hit a jack yesterday, a missile in the 8th inning. And let's go ahead and pull up the screenshot, Jared. Take a look at this. It was ruled foul by the third base umpire, Scott Berry. And I believe that we have a screenshot that will show you just how not foul this thing was. So, Jared, let me know if we have that. It was, yeah, they're efforting it right now. I will tell you that our buddy Aaron Boone was not happy. Boone goes out, argues as we know he can, and he was rewarded with his 40th career ejection, Ron.
And they reviewed it too, didn't they?
They reviewed it. See, when we get the screenshot of this up and you get a look at it, you're going to see just how bad this is, and it's going to make you question instant replay, period. We're talking about a sport where they're going to be introducing at some point, whether it's next season, whenever it's going to be. We've talked about it a lot, the automated ball strike system that they've been using in the minors, that they tested in a whole lot of spring training games this year, where you get 2 challenges, and if you're right, you retain your challenge. So theoretically, as long as your challenges are correct, you can challenge balls and strikes all night long. All right? And we're getting to the point where we're going to be doing that, but take a look at this. See the ball there, helpfully circled in red?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can you spot it,
Yeah,
Ron?
I see it.
All right? Take a look at that. That thing is nowhere close to foul, and it was ruled foul. Okay, you say, well, all right, it was ruled foul. We get it. Let's let instant replay do its thing. That's why we have instant replay, and instant replay upheld it somehow for reasons that I cannot comprehend.
Dude, what about
So
the
what the
people
fuck
that
are we doing
what about
here?
the people that had bet that Aaron Judge was going to hit a home run in the game?
Oh, well, I love the fact that in 2025, your first
Well,
concern
but it
is
is.
not the Yankees, but like some asshole sitting at home on his couch who has $20 on Aaron Judge to.
But it's true
crank
though,
one out. Well,
because
those
it's
people
part
all
of
got-
it's
they all
it's
got
part
fucked.
of sports now. It's part of sports, and it's part of our consumption of sports. So it does matter.
They got fucked. Yeah, no, they got fucked. It wouldn't matter to me if I had
Yeah.
a wager on Aaron Judge to hit a home run. The Yankees won the game 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
So it ultimately didn't affect the outcome of the game, but that's one less. Remember now, one day, years from now, when Aaron Judge is being inducted into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown,
Getting his
and we're
number
looking at
retired.
his incredible, getting his number retired one day after an appropriate, when he ends up in Monument Park
after his last
Yankee
game.
Stadium.
After his last game.
right after, while he's still on base in his last game, that happens. When that happens, just remember he's one less home run than he should have had, because that was not just a home run. There was daylight between the foul pole and where he hit it, and the foul pole isn't as high at that stadium as at a major league park, as I understand it, and maybe that provided part of the confusion, the facility being not major league standard, perhaps some are saying. But I love Boone, the 40th ejection. He's a young guy. I still believe that if he can stay pissed off enough, he's got a chance to move up the list. Maybe not catch Bobby Cox, the all-time ejections leader. Bobby Cox has 161, which I love that stat. That is one game short of an entire season of being pissed enough to get ejected. But that's 40 for Boone. And again, Boone's younger than me. He's obviously a very good manager. He could be around for a long time if he could just manage to get ejected 5 or 6 times a year, which I think he's perfectly capable of. I think 100 is within reach, if not catching Bobby Cox. I love the old school attitude of our friend Aaron Boone, and I like old school NFL coaches as well, Ron. Take a look at these two sweet bastards. This was a stronger country when NFL head coaches were indistinguishable from every unhappily married local father who was attending the games at your local high school while finding fault with each play. I love those dads that are up against the fence watching the game closely and bitching and complaining about everything that happens because in their hearts they know that they can do it better, Ron.
Yeah, I've never done that, Ricky.
You've never been that guy?
No,
I could see you standing there right there next to him. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. Yeah, you've never been that guy. We wouldn't know. If you were next to Madden and Parcells there would be no way to know which one of the two, which two of the three had won Super Bowls and which one put logos on stuff because they just look like guys. And I miss the era when great coaches just look like guys. Always my pleasure to welcome my guest today. Every time he's on the show, I look forward to it. He is, of course, OutKick's outstanding senior college sports reporter and a man who is NWO for life. He is Trey Wallace. Trey, brother, how are you?
I'm good, man. Still recovering from that. I don't even know what to call it. Shamboozle of an ending last night at WrestleMania, but I'm trying to move on. They did not give Stone Cold a field sobriety test last night, which was surprising. But overall, it was a good weekend, brother.
Since I have you here, and since you are our resident college football expert at OutKick, I do want to ask you about Nico, and I'm going to try to pronounce it one more time. Nico, Eo Amaliava. Is that it? It's close. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Can we just call him Nico?
You did.
Like
you did fine. I mean, whatever. Just call him Nico. Amaliava is how I do it. So you weren't that far off.
All right. I'm in the ballpark. If I'm in the vicinity, it feels like a victory.
Yes. And it's what a cluster it's all been over the last week. I mean, honestly, Ricky, this goes back 5 or 6 months, back to November and December and January. So it all just came to a head, man. And you had, I think here's why it was a big story, and it's still a big story. Nico was the first face of NIL in a sense. His contract coming out of high school, where he was being paid in high school a lot of money, he was the face. He was the $8 million quarterback. You know, everybody. That's what we were talking about when NIL first started in college athletics, was this deal with Nico. That's why I think it has transcended college athletics and it's being discussed so much. Not the fact that, I mean, obviously it plays into it, you know, him not showing up for practice on that Friday, and then, you know, Tennessee wanting to, you know, cut the cord, you know, immediately, but they kind of had to wait on that one in the back and forth talks. And you got one side saying one thing and the other, you know, Tennessee saying the next. And I think at the end of the day, I think it kind of shocked folks. And I think when you have a name, you know, that big, like, would we have been talking about it if this was the second string linebacker from Penn State? No, obviously not. Like, it had got some news, but not like this. And I think that the way that his camp handled it, I'm dumbfounded by the stuff that they wanted to put out there through sources when it was them the whole time. And I think on the other side too, like when you look at Tennessee and, you know, yeah, sure, they backed down in a sense. They said, hey, we're not going to pay you this amount. We're not going to change our offense, you know, just for you. You know, you're probably going to be here one more year. Like, so I think that why it was so big is just who was involved. And I think the money thing always throws fans off. And I get that part. But I've got news for you. Like, if you were agitated, maybe is the word, when you hear about these college football players making money, it's all about to change even further in July when we get this house settlement done and these schools are paying the players directly from university funds. So like if you're upset about it now, it's going to happen again. I don't know when it is. And the other thing too, I'll leave it with Nico. This was not a holdout situation. The kid, the kid was at his offensive coordinator's house on Thursday night having dinners with the kids. It was Taco Thursday, and then he doesn't show up 7 hours later. There was not enough time that went by to call this a holdout. So I think in that case, I think that's one of the storylines, in my opinion, that's been kind of misconstrued a little bit. But end of the day, brother, he wanted more money. He's not getting that at UCLA. He's not getting more money. He's probably going to make less than he would have made at Tennessee, but he gets to go home back to the West Coast, and hey, Tennessee's looking for a quarterback. So just another day in college athletics, brother.
Well, I was going to ask you, what does it mean for Tennessee? Because it leaves them obviously in a spot. What does Josh Heupel do here, and what kind of options do they have to consider?
I think one of the most interesting things is, do you go get the quarterback that's currently on UCLA's roster? That would be Joey Aguilar, the former, App State quarterback who transferred to UCLA, got a nice NIL deal, around $1 million, $1.2 million. He was going to be the starter for this season. And then all of a sudden this transpires, and now he's got to make a decision. Do I want to enter the portal? Or here's the other interesting thing, though, not a lot of people are talking about here. They would have to terminate his NIL contract for cause if they wanted to get out of paying like a full buyout type of situation. My dude at UCLA, Joey Aguilar, could say, okay, you know what? I'm going to battle for QB1. I don't care that Nico's coming in. I got a contract. You guys are going to pay me. And if you want me gone, you're going to have to technically, the term is fire me, with cause to get out of the contract. And, so a part of me is like, all right, it's his last year. He's back home, kind of on the West Coast. Why not collect a big fat check from UCLA and see if you can beat Nico out in the competition? But if not, he'll enter the transfer portal. He'll have a place to play next season. He's a good quarterback, and he'll make a little extra money. But I would say there's a lot of things working for him. And for in Tennessee's case, I think that would be a nice little marriage too. You need somebody to get you through the 25 season, Ricky, and that could be a quarterback. There's also Luke Altmaier. He played at Ole Miss. He was at Illinois this past season. Maybe that's a run that they make. So I think we find out kind of soon what Tennessee does at that position. But I mean, let's not act like Tennessee is winners in this situation either. You lose out on a quarterback like this, and all the press is in one direction and the other. So it was a no-win for either side. And at the end of the day, man, now Tennessee's got to go out and find a quarterback who can lead them next season.
All right, my brother, let's switch gears here from you dropping some college football knowledge on me, which I always look forward to when you're on the program, to something else that I look forward to is when you and I get a moment or two to discuss our mutual love of pro wrestling. And so we have a new feature on this show, Trey, that we call Gimme 5, which is where myself, Ron, and someone else, in this case you, our esteemed guest, will each give our top 5 something. And today's topic for Gimme 5 is Gimme 5 professional wrestlers. And Trey, as you are my guest today, we are going to let you have at it first. You'll be listing your 5 favorite wrestlers of all time, starting at 5 and then building to a climax of who is your all-time favorite among all favorites. So let's go one at a time, and we'll discuss as we go.
Okay, you have to remember the era that I grew up in as well, okay? Like, this was the era where, my babysitter would let us watch WCW Saturday night, NWA, a little bit of WWF back then. So, just remember my era. But I'm number 5, man, I've got Stone Cold as one of my favorites. I think what just him being out there every Monday night, even Thursday nights or Friday nights, depending on when it was. and him wreaking havoc on Vince McMahon was always fun to watch. And knowing, and also too, like even before the Stone Cold character, Ricky, like stunning Steve Austin in WCW with Brian Pillman, like that was one of my things as well. So
Hollywood
I'm going Stone
Blondes,
Cold,
motherfucker.
the Hollywood Blondes. Yes. So I'm going him with 5. Number 4, Bret Hart. Bret Hart, one of my guys, dude. I will never forget. I was young, but I'll never forget. It was 1992 SummerSlam against Mr. Perfect when he won the Intercontinental Championship, and his father, Stu Hart, was there. And then
unbelievable match, by the way.
Yeah, that match. That's 5 stars. That's more than 5 stars. That match was badass. What him and Mr. Perfect did was freaking fantastic. Bobby Heenan was there, like everything building up to that. And then his career progressed, obviously. And we saw him, when he did the Canada versus America type of storyline, that was a lot of fun. Bret Hart, number 4 for me. Sting would be number 3 for me. Growing up, watching the Stinger back in the Surfer days when he first got going, one of my favorites, if not my favorite characters in professional wrestling. And it was always fun. Like I could get into it, but I missed out on a meet and greet when I was like 9 years old, and I'll still never forget my mother to this day for that. So appreciate that to my mother for screwing that up. Sting was a favorite of mine, and he never jumped ship. And man, he was fun. When he went to the Crow character, dude, I was hooked. Every Monday night, I was freaking hooked with the Crow character. Dude. So I'm just telling you, like
completely reinvented himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely reinvented himself.
I mean, it takes a while to grow your hair out at that age. You know that, brother. So you got the nice, the locks going for him.
Yeah.
It took a minute.
It took COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It took a year.
Exactly. But that's
hanging out in the rafters. Yeah, it was great shit.
With the Crow, and then his entrance at Starrcade 97. Like, come on, man. Like, that was badass television. Not the ending. They screwed up. That was because of Hulk Hogan's just a narcissist.
Oh, yeah. Hulk Hogan fucked that up.
Yeah, he did. I know. Number 2, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, the showstopper. That was my dude, man. Ever since the Marty Jannetty kicking him through throwing him through the glass in the barbershop. And then from there on, watching his career progress, man. God, Shawn Michaels was so damn good in the ring. Mr. WrestleMania, enjoyed him. Even when he came back, and I forgot what year it was, when he came back in like the 2000s, and he fought, Triple H in a street fight in his blue jeans and his cowboy boots. Like, that was like, all right, he's back. Shawn Michaels is rolling again. So that's 2. Then, look, number 1, it's Ric Flair. It's Ric Flair. I grew up on Ric Flair. He was the face of the NWA. I saw that man in house shows before technically even WCW was going, when I was like 6 years old, down in Mobile, Alabama at the Civic Center. The Nature Boy, I get after his retirement match, he came back and he did some things with TNA and other companies, and his last match thing and that, whatever. It doesn't matter. Ric Flair is the man. What he was able to do in the ring and doing 60-minute matches with Ricky Dragon Steamboat, every other night and going town to town, like that is the best performer, I think, in professional wrestling. Ric Flair was, and one of my all-time favorites. I loved him when he did. The cap off the Ric Flair, when he did that promo against Eric Bischoff on Monday Night Raw Monday Night Raw in his tuxedo with the 4 horsemen in the ring, when he told him, you're just a low down son of a bitch, that was a highlight moment of my young career watching wrestling. So Ric Flair is my dude. Would you like a little breaking news out of college football on the way out, just to cap it all off?
I would.
Hell yeah,
okay.
We would.
Okay. So the team that Nico just signed with, UCLA, the quarterback we just talked about, Joey Aguilar, as we were doing this, and this is how we do it on OutKick, with breaking news while things are going on, Joey Aguilar, the quarterback for UCLA, will enter the transfer portal. His name will show up today, the former App State quarterback, and he will find a home in very, very quick time, is what I've been told, and I'm sitting here and going back and forth to sources right now. So breaking a little news on the show to wrap things up.
There you go, a little Ricky Cobb Show exclusive. It's always nice to get a little hometown love, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't know personally, Ron. Horse Cave. I'm still waiting for Horse Cave to recognize me. What's the threshold, do you think, Ron, for being famous enough from Horse Cave, Kentucky, that the town elders get together at some point and decide that you're worthy of some kind of recognition? While you consider that, I want you to listen to what Paige Bueckers' hometown of Hopkins, Minnesota, is going to be doing for her. This is pretty good. There's going to be a Paige Bueckers Day, May the 16th, 2025, and for that one day only, it's not permanent, Ron, but for May the 16th, 2025, Hopkins, Minnesota will be known as Paige Bueckers, Minnesota. How about that? The city council making it official and proper. What a way to honor the favorite daughter of Hopkins, Minnesota.
I definitely cannot wait for Ricky Cobb, Kentucky. I think you're probably
Horse Cave just what I got to do? I mean,
I think you're
I'm
probably
not from New York City. What do I got to do for these people?
I think give me 4 more appearances on Gutfeld, and I think we'll have it.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.